What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday now. Today we are going to be going over the National League Division Series game 4 between the Nationals and the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley. This is a do or die game for the Washington Nationals after losing that big game 2 days ago. But before we get into that, I want to go over the Dodgers and Diamondback series because I felt that was something that I just kind of wanted to go over a little bit because I didn't think I was going to have a chance to do a free video like this. But I predicted that the Dodgers were going to win. I think that I said the Dodgers were going to win in 3. I think I said it was going to be like a sweep. I didn't see the Diamondbacks having any type of impact in this game. They just got outpitched. They got out hit. It was just nasty. I mean, Darvish was nasty. Kershaw got hit around, which, I mean, I'm just waiting for this dude to have a big-time moment. I mean, he's just so talented, so for him to not have that really bothers me. It really irks me. He's like the Peyton Manning of baseball. He's great in the regular season. You know you can count on him for 20 wins, a subpar, a sub-2 ERA, a sub-2 ERA, and a bunch of strikeouts. But he just doesn't do it in the postseason. I don't understand why. But anyways, I had predicted that they did pitch well, bullpen was strong, offense was strong, and they just crushed Arizona. And I believe that no team, not even the Nationals or the Cubs, really want to be facing that Dodgers team right now. You got Jensen who's coming in the 8th inning to get 6 out saves. You have, the whole entire lineup just going crazy. You have Puig just having, I think, the best time of his career right now. I mean, y'all see how Puig has been playing unbelievable. He plays with such electricity that it just fires up the ballpark and the teammates around him. He's just fun to watch. But let's get back into this series. Now, the Nationals and the Cubs have had an interesting series. It's been tight. It hasn't really been, it really hasn't been that big of a mismatch. A few mistakes here, a few mistakes there have cost these guys, a win. And the mistakes aren't like defensively. They just didn't execute the pitch at the right time. And that's what's been big about this series from what I've gathered. Now, the thing I have to sit here and I have to say about this series is that you have the Chicago Cubs and the Washington Nationals. Both teams won their divisions. The Nationals had an easy way of getting into the playoffs. None of the teams in their division were doing well, and in Chicago they fought for the division. So, 2 different seasons for these teams. You have Tanner Roark starting in this game. I believe he's going to go up against Jake Arrieta. Now, Tanner Roark is an established Major League pitcher. He's won 18 or 19 games, I believe, in one season. So he knows how to win. He knows how to get outs. And in times like this, you just need a guy that knows how to win. And Tanner Roark knows how to win. Now, I expect Tanner Roark to be lights out. I expect him to be electric. I expect him to be the guy that we expect Tanner Roark to be. We just have to look at it this way. If he can get the guys out, and these are some of the big guys that I'm talking about, if he can get guys like a Rizzo, a Zobrist, Bryant, Almora, Contreras, Baez, if he can control those guys and keep those guys maintained and those guys don't go for any type of crazy offensive game, if he doesn't let Rizzo get the big hit in an inning, or if he doesn't let Almora or Zobrist or even Contreras get a big walk, because Contreras seems to, jumpstart a lot of the Cubs' rallies with a walk. If he can limit that, then the Washington Nationals have a chance to win this game. If not, then the Washington Nationals are going to be in some big-time trouble. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of Dusty Baker taking out Matt Scherzer in Game 4. Game 3 in the 7th inning after giving up the double. To me, in my opinion, 95 pitches in, he's showing you that his hamstring is okay. Nothing was bothering him. He was being Mad Max. He was, walking around the mound, doing his usual, antics. And to be honest with you, what's the worst that happens? He gives up a base hit, right, a single, or maybe a double, right, into the tie game. But I still trust Max Scherzer to get out of that game. I do. I trust him to get out with either the lead or keeping the game tied at 1-1. He went to the bullpen and it showed itself. The bullpen showed that they could not handle it. Now, he brought in a couple of guys, they couldn't get the job done. And once again, in the postseason, if you have a weakness, you got to try to hide that weakness as much as you can. And the Nationals, it's the bullpen, so you have to get so much length out of your starters. That's why it's important for Scherzer, Strasburg, and Gio, and Roark to go 6 or 7 innings. That's the reason why I picked the Nationals to win this series, is because I believe those type of pitchers, those elite of the elite pitchers, at least those 2 that I mentioned, Strasburg and Scherzer, could do exactly that. Now, Scherzer did, and Strasburg pitched a pretty good game in his game. So, They got what they needed. They just couldn't execute it after they were gone. And I know that they changed the whole lineup around today, or at least for tomorrow, because they were supposed to play today. And they're going with Trey Turner, Jason Worth, Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman, Daniel Murphy, Anthony Rendon, Matt Wieters, Michael Taylor. Now, that wasn't the original lineup, I believe, yesterday, or for Game 3. I think Game 3's lineup was a little bit different than that. And, I mean, they had to. They had to go with a completely different lineup here. They just... I mean, your top of the order, your top 4 hitters, your first 4 hitters went 0 for 16. You can't win a playoff game, nor win a series being 0 for 16, and your team is hitting 121. They're hitting $1.21. $1.21. I mean, that's not sustainable. And Jake Arrieta didn't have a great game. Some of these guys haven't had great games, and this offense just doesn't seem to pick it up. I don't understand what is it with the Washington Nationals that when they get into the postseason, they become this different team. They shy away from the pressure. I mean, they tease you with such great games and with such great wins throughout the regular season, and then they stink it up in the postseason. But this is worse. When you're going 0 for 16 as a collective unit, at least when your top 4 hitters, your supposedly best hitters, are not getting the hits that they need to give you the win. I mean, that's just crazy. Scherzer did whatever he could to win that game. And now Tanner Roark has to do the same thing. But the reason why this is such a big series to me for the Washington Nationals is because this might be their last chance, their last legitimate chance to make a run, to get to the World Series and win the World Series. I mean, you have Bryce Harper, who becomes a free agent after next season. He's most likely not going to stay. You have Murphy, who's a free agent. He's most likely not going to stay. And if he does, he's getting up there in age. You got Worth, who's up there in age. You got Matt Scherzer, who's starting to creep up there in age at 33, going on 34 next season. You have, you have a bunch of talent that's either getting up there in age or is going to leave. And this might be, like I said, their final run. Now, if this falls on Dusty Baker as well. Dusty Baker has to have more faith in Max Scherzer to get out of that inning. And to be honest with you, his job's on the line tomorrow. He must win this game tomorrow, or else he loses his job to me. Him and everybody else needs to play their best, because if not, this might be the last time that they have a shot at the World Series, and this might be Dusty Baker's last job as a manager in the major leagues, which is unfortunate. He's a great manager. He gets a lot of crap for what he did in Chicago. I don't understand why. He had nobody else in Chicago, and just like right now, he has the talent, but just they're not producing. They're not doing anything for him, and that's just sad. But this is a must win for sure for the Washington Nationals. They need to come out. They need to play their best baseball, the best baseball that they have played all year long. Score runs, pitch well, just do everything that they need to do to win this game. Sorry guys, I have a book falling down here if you guys hear it, but they have to win this game. And as for the Cubs, listen, the Cubs have been, to me, the Cubs have not been what the Cubs were last season. They're still a good team. They're still a great team. They have the team that won the World Series last year. They are the reigning, defending champions of baseball. But, I mean, I hear other people like Cougs and everybody else talking about, the Cubs are still solid. The Cubs still have a team, but that rotation hasn't pitched the way that they did last season. I mean, it's hard to replicate what they did last season. What they were doing last season was otherworldly. It was just out of this world. You couldn't replicate it if you tried. But they haven't even been their regular selves. John Lester hasn't pitched the way that John Lester has usually pitched. Jake hasn't pitched the way he's pitched the past 2 years. Kyle Hendricks isn't that type of Cy Young Award winner that he was last year. He's kind of picked it up towards the second half and towards this playoff time, but he still isn't what he was last year. John Lackey still isn't the same as he used to be. And they do have some arms in the pen, but they're not enough to, if they get into trouble, can last them into the ninth inning. And that's why it's important to get length out of Jake Arrieta tomorrow and try to end this series now, so you can rest up that pen, rest up those arms, and get the best arms out there against LA for the championship series. Now, this is also another big series for the Cubs, or another big win here for the Cubs that they must win, is because this was supposed to be the start of a young dynasty, a new era of baseball. And right now, I mean, to be honest with you, I look at this team. I look at guys like John Lester. I look at guys like John Lackey. I look at guys like Jake Arrieta. They're in their 30s. They're getting up there in age. You don't know how much longer they're going to stay being elite, especially at Lester. You just don't know. They have Kitana. He's young. You know, Jake is still kind of young. Kyle Hendricks is young, so you can work around those three. But if John Lester isn't what you paid him to be, and if John Lackey can't find what he found before, and if Kyle Hendricks can't be what he once was before, then the Cubs are going to be in trouble in this series, and they're going to be in trouble later on down the road with this potential dynasty going to waste. I mean, that's why baseball's so beautiful. You know, we don't know who's going to win these games. You know, it's not like, oh, well, they're the best team, so therefore they're going to win the game. The Cleveland Indians were up 2-0. No, if I sat here and I told you guys that the Yankees were going to come back in the Yankees were going to win Game 3 off of a Greg Bird home run against Andrew Miller, lefty on lefty matchup, and then destroy Trevor Bauer after they looked awful against Trevor Bauer in Game 1. In Game 4, you guys will look at me like I'm crazy, saying that, hey, the Yankees aren't going to Cleveland after that. There's no way that the Cleveland Indians are going to take one in New York. But they did, and that's the same thing here with this series. You have to slowly be careful with the fact that, hey, the Nationals can get hot, Chicago, and hey, Chicago, your series can end right here if you don't get the Nationals. Your series can end here if you guys can't stop the Cubs, and that's the interesting part of this series to me, is both teams are, to me, I believe, equally matched. They have whatever bullpens, and this is nonsense that I got stuck there. I'm just commenting on the gameplay, but it is what it is. Honestly, it is. But, I mean, must win for the Nationals tomorrow. Must win. I picked the Nationals to win the series. I still believe that the Nationals are going to win this series. They're just going to have to win it in 5. Simple as that. They just got to win it in 5. But anyways, guys, I'm going to end it here. This is a pretty lengthy video for me right now. It's early in the morning. But if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Comment as well. Let me know what you guys think about this series. Who do you guys have? Nationals, Cubs? And then if you do have one of those teams, tell me, do you think any of those teams can beat the Los Angeles Dodgers? Now, I know some of you guys may think that the Cubs can beat the Dodgers. I personally don't think that this is going to happen this time around. I think that the Dodgers are like the Indians. They're hungry. They want a little bit of revenge, and they're waiting for the Cubs. But yeah, let me know. Like I said, like this video, comment. Let me know who you guys think are going to win this game, and if so, who's going to win this series, and do you guys think they could beat the Dodgers? And if you are new, don't forget to subscribe. I'm sorry, guys, more noise with my pen. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys later on tonight, where I'm going to go over both the Nationals and the Yankee game, which is going to be fantastic. I mean, that series has just been excellent. And before we leave here, let's look at this great play by J.D. Martinez. Look at that, trying to get a freaking Gold Glove out there in right field. But anyways, guys, yeah, subscribe if you are new, man. I hope to hear you guys in the comment section down below. Once again, sorry that I wasn't able to comment as much on the comment section down below. I was just tired from just work and overall craziness that has been going on these past 6 days. So I love to get, to see your comments and respond as quickly as possible when I do see them on my phone. And yeah, that's it. So later on, guys, I will talk to you in a little bit. Enjoy the gameplay, and alright, we need to get out of this. We need to get out of this jam right here, right now. And Betances just doesn't seem to have it right now. He's lost all of his control, it looks like, which is just worrying me. But here goes that 0-1 pitch. Wow, that was literally, he should have crushed that ball. But what a great way to get out of this jam. And Eddie Murray's going to catch that ball. And that's going to be it for this freaking game. I've been solid in this event. I got Earl Hershiser. I got, I think I'm close to Jim Edmonds. So I'm having fun with this event, guys. I really am. And I'm just enjoying the hell out of it.